Hi, my name is Julia. I'm here to guide you through a beginner's morning flow to get your day going. I would love to tell you and share with you everything that I wish that I had known when I first started my yoga practice. To begin, come to a stance on your mat. Your feet can be hip-width distance or together. We're going to build from the bottom all the way to the top structurally and then with our muscles. So on an inhale, begin to lift all 10 toes away from the mat and gently place them down, pinky side edge to big toe. You might notice that your calves fire on and also the arches of your feet, sealing also the pinky side edges. Then we want to stack the knees and hips over the ankles and the shoulders over the hips and the head stacking over the shoulders. So you might feel this integration of the tailbone rooting down towards the heels, and you might need to spread those toes up and reach them out again so that you can stretch the root system of your feet. So this is a really strong structural pose. Now we're going to introduce the muscles. So the calves might be firing on. To lift the thighs away from the kneecaps, you must internally rotate, seeing these small little adjustments, feeling strong and empowered, and then you come into your belly button, and the belly button wants to pull up and back towards the spine. As you're here, you might notice that your rib cage wants to splay out. We call it closing and sealing the lower floating ribs, and that makes the back body open and span. Then you have the heart space and broaden across the chest. Maybe bring the hands down and lift the shoulders up towards the ears and then down the spine, feeling illuminated and great and empowered again. And then with the head, bring the chest and the chin slightly over to where you're stacking everything. So this is a very strong, engaged posture. It may look simple, so notice the difference between this and this, and then begin to see the benefits of having a really strong posture, feeling bright and open, receiving all the energy for the morning so that you can go about your day feeling strong and confident. What we're going to do next is just take a little pivot to the right so that you come towards the middle of your mat. Keep that same integration into your body. Maybe your toes are still lifted, your arms are out wide, and your fingers are spread. And then notice if you're holding any tension in the glutes, pushing the hips forward. Remember to push the tailbone down. And then you can spread the fingers, and then you can slowly have them to where the thumbs are parallel to the floor. We're going to take an inhale, lift the chest up, and begin to make little micro circles forward and backwards. Notice what happens to the belly when we are working our hands and our legs. Sometimes our belly is forgotten, so it's not this, it's this. Chest lifted, tailbone rooted, top of the head feeling light and airy at the crown of our head space. And then we're going to slowly exhale, go the opposite direction. As you begin to do this for your morning stretch, you might feel some stiffness in the shoulders, and you can begin to slowly make bigger rotations with the arms. Notice the eyeballs of your elbows. These are really important when we start to get into the foundational part of our plank and our downward dog. So continue to move through your little circles, breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and then gently bring everything down, let it rest, soften where you want. Before I begin to fold over, I'm going to pull my hair up for a moment so that that will not impede any type of flow that we've got going on. And then we'll be able to get deep into our practice. Okay, here we go. So on an inhale, begin to reach the arms up overhead, look up, spread the fingers wide, feel as if someone's grabbing your wrists up towards the ceiling, and then settle them back into their sockets. Notice what happens to your breastplate, and then slowly tilt the tailbone back down. See these minor adjustments, and then exhale, swan dive forward, bend into the knees as much as you'd like, and then allow the head and neck to go completely. Grab opposite elbows if you'd like to walk your toes close together and your heels slightly ajar. That releases this lower lumbar sacrum. And you can begin to sway left and right, taking inhales and exhales bending the knees to where you can maybe see your kneecaps in your eye gaze. And then inhale, slowly lift flat back. Take an inhale and soften the shoulders. Notice the difference when they're up towards the ears. Pull them back towards the hips. Feel this nice breath of a balloon pushing into the middle back so that you're in this neutral tabletop. And then exhale, slowly fold. Head and neck comes down, shake it all out. We're inverting so that we reverse the blood flow, and then we get some of that good serotonin juices into our headspace. And then inhale, let's lift halfway once more. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back slowly, maybe coming onto your tippy toes, using and pushing the ground away, coming into your plank. Before we move through our chaturanga and plank, I'm gonna go ahead and let us lower our knees and talk about the foundations of our hands and wrists. A lot of times our yogis express some issues with the elbows or the shoulders, and it's all because of this foundation into our hands. We want to make sure that the middle finger is parallel to the outside of our mat, and we want to make sure that our grip and that our stance is wide enough to where we feel good and supported in our shoulders. So as you're here, make sure that you glue down the L's of your fingers, the pointer and the thumb, and then you push into the finger pads and knuckle mounts rather than dumping into the wrist. So I should be able to move a quarter or a piece of paper underneath your wrist so that it feels good and supported and that you're using the root system of your hands instead of dumping in. And then everything we do in yoga is we make sure that these eyes of the elbows are towards one another rather than out hyperextended or out towards the sides. So when you're ready, you can push back into your plank pose. Feel the body. That's what yoga is all about. And then maybe make a wider plank if that feels better in your hips. Just try to keep your hips level with your shoulders. And then let's go ahead and lower the knees onto the mat and feel yourself allow the hips to come forward, almost like an upward dog variation in the chest, wheeling up and forward and back. And then begin to allow your hips to come up, and maybe bring your big toes to touch your knees to mat with distance, coming into a child's pose. So what you ultimately want is, if you can't reach your hips down towards your heels, it can be a little bit more stable and supportive if you bring them together and maybe tuck or untuck the toes, and then allow your head and neck to come down onto the mat and roll out the third eye, hairline. Notice how it feels in your chest and your belly. See if you can feel the breath reach all the way down to your hips, to the tips of your toes. Reach your fingers, spread them wide. Notice how it feels in the shoulder blades. And give yourself a moment to completely empty out. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, let it go. And slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your face and shoulders. Lift up into a tabletop position. And let's flow through some cat-cows. And cat-cows is just really getting into the spine. So keep your hands and wrists directly underneath the shoulders and your hips directly over your knees. And then inhale the chest through, drop the belly, look up, very much like that upward dog variation. And then exhale, push the mat away. This will be important for your plank and downward dog. Allow the head and neck to go completely. Look up towards the midline and then face the eyes of the elbows together. Soften the shoulders, come to a neutral spine. Walk the hands out, tuck the toes if they're not tucked already. Begin to push back up into your plank pose. Shift forward, then exhale. Begin to bring the elbows down. Lower as slowly as you can. If you need to lower your knees first, please do so and untuck your toes. Allow the forehead to rest for a moment. Soften the back shoulder, scapula, and then maybe windshield wiper the heels left and right to give yourself a break. Then on an inhale, lift the chest up, lift the head up, eye gaze towards the front of your mat. Maybe bring the big toes and heels together. Feel the hips and the tops of the feet lever you up so that your upper body can come up a little bit more. No pressure in these hands, so you're pulling the chest apart, opening, feeling a nice chest opener, and then exhale, plant the hands down, tuck the toes, push up into a plank, and then lift the hips slowly into a downward dog. Pedal out the legs. Allow the head and neck to be completely loose. If you'd like to walk your feet out mat width distance and maybe your hands out mat width distance, if this feels stable for you, feel the hips lift up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, feel the belly push towards the hips, feeling a nice hamstring and glute stretch. And allow your head and neck to be shaking yes or no, and unlock the jaw. Feel the inhale, reach up, and then exhale, root you back down. When you're ready, look in between your hands and wrists. Focus on those L's of your fingers and the parallelness to your middle finger and the eyes of the elbows. Walk your feet close together and then begin to walk up towards in between your hands. Big toes touch, head and neck drop. You're in your forward fold. Bend the knees deeply and inhale, halfway lift. Take a moment, lift those toes, shine them up towards your face. Feel these shins and calves slide on, and exhale, slowly fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive or ragdoll, yogi's choice. Sometimes it feels real nice to allow the head and neck to come up last, and then begin that foundational stacking of your bones and your muscles. Knees, hips over ankles, shoulders over hips, head over shoulders, over hips, over ankles. Maybe your arms light up as well. Stand here strong in your Tadasana. Inhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine and up towards the ribcage. Soften the shoulders. Let everything go. Shake it out. Then when you're ready, come into Anjali Mudra, which is just bringing your hands to a prayer and your thumbs into your heart space. Your heart space pushes back into your thumbs. We're going to slowly sit our hips back into a Utkatasana, another way of just saying a chair. So what we often do in yoga is come into a chair pose, but sometimes our booty wants to shift back towards the back wall. And this is a great prime opportunity for us to shoot the tailbone down towards the heels. What that causes is the belly button to loosen, almost like this Santa Claus like rolling over of our belly. And we want to pull it back towards the back body, feeling strong and stable into our spine, helping this nice spine strength and health. Then we want to soften the shoulders, keep our hands towards our chest, and feel as if one line is in our upper body, and then our lower limbs are getting that nice attention. These IT bands, these internal hip flexors. Pull the knees together, lift the toes away. Maybe look and see your toes peeking beneath your knees, and then exhale, come up to a nice stance. Whew. We are where we began, as it is with yoga. And we'll inhale, reach the arms up. Feel the shoulders pull out of socket. Exhale them back down and soften the shoulders. Now I'm going to wrap all of this together and talk about the spine health and how we can make these little mindful shifts so that we can be more aware in our bodies, feeling more confident and eliminating this spine issue or back pain. So a lot of times humans, myself included, I'll sometimes dump into one hip or dump into another, or I'll just kind of stand hunched over or shooting my belly out. But then this causes the lower belly to be loose and heavy. So the whole point of yoga is to have these little reminders of making sure that we have great posture so that we can pull the belly up towards the rib cage and flatten out this lower part of our belly and feel this nice strength and containment and engaging and also being grateful for this container. So our bodies are merely vessels, and we are just trying to make sure that we take the best care of them as possible. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flow through this whole vignette that I just taught us and broke down, and then we're going to be able to see and witness how it will look and how there's this form and these little minor adjustments. So when you're ready, it might be a little bit more quickly, but remember to integrate breath through movement. That's what vinyasa is. And we'll inhale the arms up towards the sky. Reach, reach, reach. Feel everything want to splay, and then connect. Almost like if you were a transformer and like everything engaged. Exhale, back down. Allow yourself to fold over, head and neck loose. Noticing the contrast of engagement and relaxation. Then inhale, engage. Allow the back to be flat. Lift the toes away, soften the shoulders, make a flat back spine. Breathe into the back body. Notice the difference between this or this, and make a nice straight tabletop. Head and neck looking down towards the ground, seeing if you can grow the sides of your neck just a little more. Exhale, lower completely. Drop the hands to frame the feet. Step back into your plank pose. Push the ground away. Maybe come down and see if the shoulder blades can touch. Then push, and then lower the knees. Push back into a child's pose. Hold for a breath. Catch your breath. Check in with an intention that you may have set from the beginning of your practice, seeing if it's just to give yourself some groundedness, some space for your morning. Inhale and exhale, feel the diaphragm on your thighs, then slowly roll forward, head and neck and chest leading. Pike up into your plank, maybe bend the knees into little mountain poses, and then shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, kiss the mat. Inhale, slowly come up to your cobra pose, rooting into the knees, hips, ankles, toes, everything turns on. Exhale, lower. Take a deep inhale, prepare. Place your hands directly under your breastplates and then push back up, adjusting the hands to where the middle fingers are parallel to the mat, and then coming into your downward dog. Pedaling it out, seeing if your heels can get closer to the mat. Lift the toes, come high up onto the tippy toes. Notice the difference. Push the chest towards the heels, and then look forward. Step forward, make your way to a forward fold. Toes come together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive or ragdoll. And allow yourself to settle, coming back to Tadasana. Thank you so much for joining me here on your mat today. Tomorrow's course will be addressing lower back pain and flexibility in the hips. You can find this full course available on Amazon and WellnessPlus.tv. Thank you so much. The light and dark in me honors and bows to the light and dark in you. Namaste.
We at WellnessPlus specialize in all things health and wellness, ranging from yoga and fitness to massage and ASMR. Whether you are looking to target specific areas of tension or want to enhance your general self-care routine, we provide the tools you need to feel better, look better, and live better. We have courses for every level, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro. Our courses provide a wide range in difficulty to accommodate your evolving flow.
Welcome back to Yoga with Jess. We are going to break down some really essential postures.
We are going to rock out with some of the most essential ab exercises that you need to have the abs that you've always dreamed of.
I've blended techniques to help you connect with students, and you can be a rock star teacher.
WellnessPlus is available on Amazon, which you can stream from your home on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join WellnessPlus today and get your first 7 days free.